Hey guys, it's me again, Drew. Want to welcome you back and appreciate everybody who's been subscribing and watching some of the videos I've put out. But a little bit different today. I've got a guest, so I want you to meet Alan. Alan and I have been really good friends for 20 years now, and he and his family are just visiting for a few days, and we thought, oh, man, if there's anybody that can tell good stories, it's going to be Alan and me. So we just want to kind of go back, and we're going to probably shoot a few videos, just a couple of them, to go over just a few things of our history and our history within collecting and the relationships or the relationship that we started and grew through collecting and have continued on, even though our lives have gotten so much more outside of collecting world. So a little background. Alan had moved to the town that I'm in and started going to school at the college in town, and actually started working for me at the business that I run. And through our conversations and stuff and talking, realized we had a lot in common, especially love for sports. At the time, this was 2002.
2002,
And
yep.
Our backgrounds were very similar in the way we collected things. So with me, I always collected packs and put sets together from buying boxes and stuff. But the only cards I would ever see were the ones that you would buy in packs, that year or the previous few years. If you went to a card show or a card shop rather, they had all the new stuff, which now considered the junk wax, but very, very little in vintage. And I've always been a fan of the history of baseball, but I never had the opportunity to own anything from way back. And I believe you were kind of the same thing,
Yeah.
But a few differences. So why don't you talk about some of
Yeah,
that?
so I loved basketball. I loved playing basketball as a kid, and really started getting into it in the late 80s, early 90s, playing basketball. And then myself and the neighborhood kids, we started collecting basketball cards around that same timeline. And so we would play ball and take a break and go over, and we would look at each other's cards and do some trading. Well, my favorite basketball player was David Robinson. And so collected as many David Robinsons as I could. And I remember getting the 1990 Skybox David Robinson and thinking, oh, this is such a great card. But then I realized when we got a price guide that NBA Hoops had a 1989 David Robinson jersey card where he's holding the jersey there.
I remember the
and
card.
Seeing that card in the price guide at $25 in my mind was
It's crazy.
like, how would I ever be able to get this card? Where could I find it? How could I see this card? And so it was just it was almost an insurmountable goal to try to get this David Robinson rookie card. But I started collecting David Robinsons and had accumulated quite a lot.
Yeah. And I was the same way. I liked, at the time, he and I met and started building our friendship. I had done the same thing with Griffey, and I have quite a fair amount, still have them, Griffey cards. And while some have some value or whatever, I never had that vintage stuff. I never had that old stuff because it wasn't ever a way we could find it. If you went to a card show, it was pretty few and far between. We're in a small town. We'd have to travel a few hours to get to a bigger city where there was a good-sized show. And the most I had seen was stuff from the early 80s or the mid-70s even, but 60s and 50s, forget it. And and I don't know how it came up, but I think it was just our getting to know each other. And I was learning about basketball and the history of basketball through your stories. And I was telling you about stuff with baseball and the history of baseball with mine. And anyway, somewhere along the way, we discovered eBay. And eBay was not brand new, but it was brand new to us. I think you were saying about how you discovered certain players or cards, all of a sudden they were available, and all you had to do was find them and win.
Yeah.
So
like this legendary David Robinson jersey card, all of a sudden I discovered that people were selling this card on eBay for $3, $4, $5, and all of a sudden these cards that were legendary in my mind as a 12-year-old kid are now accessible to me through eBay, and I don't have to drive 2 hours to a card shop to hope that they have one. I can just go on eBay and search. And so started getting a bunch of players, a bunch of my favorite players, just kind of haphazardly. I remember getting David Thompson's rookie card, Pete Maravich, Tall Boy Tops, Pete Maravich card, the Pistol. Pete Maravich story was my favorite movie growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and so it just opened this whole new world of collecting for a couple of guys who maybe hadn't done much of it over the last few years before.
Yeah, I think the first vintage card that I was able to get on eBay was a 62 Stam Usual. And I couldn't believe I owned a Stam Usual, and won this card. And honestly, I don't remember the condition. I probably can look because I think it's in a case behind the camera right now. I can go look at it. But the point is that I had a Stam Usual. What in the world? I mean, to him, it was the same as owning a Babe Ruth. He was legendary in what he did, and so I think you and I did the same thing. We started like every night. Well, what's ending tonight? What card have I always wanted? That there's a so and so in there. So we both started accumulating cards, but we had no direction in cards. And I started thinking, I want to do something specific. So what I did was I thought I want to build a set. I want to build a vintage set. And I thought that would be so cool to complete a vintage set. And so looking through the sets of which one I'm going to pick, I ended up landing on 1955. And the reason I picked 1955 Topps was twofold. First, it was a small set, 208 cards in the set, 206 cards in the set. And second, no Mickey Mantle. I didn't have to worry about that guy. I had none of him at that point. There's no way I could afford him. I know there's a Clemente rookie, but he's not Mickey Mantle, so I wasn't worried about it. So I started accumulating and building this set. And again, that was part of our daily conversations is who did you get and how did you, and I would be researching these guys that I hadn't heard of, the minor players, the commons, so to speak, and finding lots. And at the same time, you went a different route, but still focused in. So
I remember when the NBA came out with their list of the 50 greatest basketball players, and I actually watched that All-Star game where they were announcing every one of the 50 greatest basketball players. And so when Drew had announced what he was going to collect, I thought, you know what, wouldn't it be awesome to get a rookie card for every one of the 50 greatest basketball players in NBA history? And so started to aggressively build that collection, build that set.
Yeah, we went back and forth, and eBay was this new thing. It was like it just lit us up. If you don't mind, tell an eBay story, something that you remember, a joy or a tragedy or something in building this in the early days of eBay, where we were both learning the ropes of it.
Lots of joys and tragedies. Probably the worst and the best story is I purchased a Michael Jordan rookie, 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan, one of the last cards I needed to complete my set. I've been watching different ones on eBay, thought I had one, thought I could get it for under $200, placed some bids and bought it for $55. To make a really long story short, talked to the seller on the phone a little bit. He didn't want to send me the card. I thought I was getting the real deal. I get it in the mail, open it up, bring it to the store, open it up. Drew, here's the Jordan. Here it is. Open it up, and then inside, it was in this massive plastic.
Yeah, the big lucite screw down.
Screw down case, and I don't think we even had to take it out of the screw down to go, wow, this is a forgery.
I think I was hoping that maybe the plastic was messing with the picture, making it blurry, but no, that wasn't to be. So
I still have the screw down, actually.
Well, then it's good. Its memories are good, and maybe that's what you can collect. I paid $55 for a screw down, and I was able to get a reprint for free. So
my David Robinson jersey card in that. The baby's worth $15 nowadays.
There you go. So I think my story is with that set was, like I had mentioned before, I had to get the Clemente rookie, and I knew it was going to be the expensive one, and I knew that it would at that point be the most I'd ever spent on a vintage anything, and and I kept watching them to see what they were selling for, and there was an auction that came up, and the starting bid on it was $250, and the thing was, people would go crazy when they were 99 cents to start and whatever, but a high dollar starting bid usually didn't get very much. So I waited and I watched. But the other thing was that the seller was he had it ending the listing was at like 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And this was before sniping programs where you can just put it in and go to bed. You had to sit there and wait. It's on dial-up, so I'm refreshing. Saying nobody bid all week, and I'm watching and I'm looking through the picture, and I'm reading the description, and just, could I possibly, is this possible? I didn't have much more than $250. So So I get towards the end, 3 in the morning, bleary eyed or whatever. I put in my bid, and I was the only bidder, and I won it, $250. And nowadays, what a steal if you can get that card. In fact, it was graded a 2, and at the time, and now it's free. But anyway, but I. In the description, and I knew this, but I never questioned it because I didn't care about this other little thing. But in the description, not in the title, the person had put, the winner of this card will also receive 9 other Roberto Clemente vintage cards. That's all it said. So sure enough, I paid, and it comes, and along with the 55, also were 9 other cards, including a 57, 58, and 59, I definitely remember, and then some from the 60s. And they're all in the same kind of shape. And I couldn't believe it. I got all this freebie stuff because $250 at the time was pretty good price for his rookie, and I had gotten all these others, and I ended up selling all the other 9 cards on eBay, and I got about $350 for the 9 cards when I sold them individually. So I still say I didn't pay anything. Someone gave me $100 for my Clemente rookie, which isn't quite true, but still, you know, it sounds better when you say it that way. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of where I went. That was my joy story. So, but you got your lucite case, so I mean, it's about even. It's about even.
Some would say yes. Depends on your passion, I guess.
I suppose so. So, but anyway, but yeah, I'm glad you guys listened in. And listen, if you think about it or know anything, if you have any stories about early eBay stuff or auctions or whatever, put a little story or comment down there. I love to hear it. I love to share it. Share it in the comments, and I read and respond to everything in there. So if you have any that sound interesting or fun, put it in there, because I want to get to know you guys a little bit better as we do this. So, but listen, I appreciate Alan sitting in on this. Believe we're going to try to shoot a couple more maybe, and they'll be released in the future. But anyway, I appreciate everyone coming. Any parting words on this first one here? Are you good? Or?
Yeah, I don't have any parting words.
Okay.
Thank you for watching.
And anyway, I'm waiting for her to say smash that button, but anyway, don't do that. But anyway, do appreciate you coming in. Look forward to our next things. Until next time, you guys be good.